In our last show, we met Alvin Irby, the stand-up comedian and teacher with 2 master's degrees, who's traded the classroom for the barbershop to deliver a life-saving lesson to children in the biggest and busiest city in the country. With Barbershop Books, Alvin builds reading spaces for barbershops. He then fills those spaces with reading options kids will enjoy, with a little encouragement from their barbers as they wait to get a haircut. Okay. Alvin calls the waiting time expensive reading real estate.
Based on my experience as a teacher, I had some theories, right? One was that, a lot of young boys of color, a lot of young black boys don't identify as readers, right?
Okay.
So if you ask them, are you a reader? Do you like to read? They would say no. And then also, I had a theory that a lot of boys don't associate books and reading with being black. And that's problematic because if you don't identify as a reader, well, you're much less likely to read for fun. And reading for fun or pleasure reading is absolutely crucial for closing the reading achievement gap.
Here are some sobering numbers to think about. 1 out of every 4 children in America grow up without ever learning to read. Nearly 85% of those facing trial in juvenile court are functionally illiterate. And more than 60% of all prison inmates are illiterate.
So we have boys, we have books, and barbershops. What made you decide that the barbershop was the place to do this?
Considering those theories that I just talked about, right, that I think a lot of black boys don't associate books with being black and things like that, I think that one of the reasons why that's the case is because a lot of young black boys don't have relevant reading models. They don't have black men that they see in their lives who are reading or that are encouraging them to read.
Denny Moe's Superstar Barbershop here in Harlem was the first to open its doors to Alvin's idea.
Before the books came in here, they used to try to tear up the shop.
Being the first is a point of pride for the shop owner, who sacrificed a little profit to make room for it.
I had video games back there, took them out, put the chess table up, put the books back there. You want to, give the kids to exercise their mind, you know what I mean? And what better way to do it than reading a book?
Fig's Barbershop, just up the street, signed on as well. You read 2 books today.
Yes.
Of those 2 books, which one was your favorite?
Lego Ninjago.
And I think what Alvin is doing is amazing for the community. It really is. It really shows that, people still do care out there.
Literacy is very important. And with all the game systems and no one really reading and writing anymore, everything is in the computer, it's essential that they learn to read, learn new words, and understand what they're reading at the same time.
Well-groomed, well-read is the Barbershop Books slogan.
Part of what Barbershop Books is trying to challenge is kind of negative attitudes or perceptions about books and reading. And so anything that I see that's positive and that involves kids interacting and parents interacting with books in the barbershop, that makes me really happy, and it lets me know, you know what? It's doing what it was created to do.
It's being done in at least 9 barbershops and counting. I wanted to see Barbershop Book headquarters, so this is it?
This is Barbershop Books headquarters, AKA my living room.
This is a one-man operation with a growing reach.
So Barbershop Books is continuing to expand.
Yeah, I really see Barbershop Books as being a national program. Right now we're only in New York City and primarily just in Harlem, but I definitely know that there are barbershops all across the United States, that could utilize this program. I've received requests from as far as Anchorage, Alaska, Detroit, Chicago, Newark, Baltimore, St. Louis, LA, Texas, Houston, all over, people have reached out wanting to bring Barbershop Books, but as you can see,
this is
Barbershop Books.
Funny thing, Barbershop Books comes from the heart of a kid from Little Rock, whose single mother, a teacher, forced him to read as a child. And while he never saw himself as an educator, his high school principal predicted it.
We're both in line. He turns and he says to me, Alvin, you're gonna be a better principal than I ever was. And I looked him directly in his eyes and said, never, I will never go into education. Never, never. And I said it with such, I just was so confident with it, right? And here I am, you know, I mean, this is what my life's work is. I am the chief reading inspirer. So I'm out here working hard to inspire the next generation of readers.
And that's good news.